So I know I said I was going to shoot this yesterday, but iMovie was acting up, and then when I finally got it all edited, I realized I didn't like the video. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to test something. I'm looking for something for a thumbnail. So that's probably going to be the thumbnail. Or actually, what I'll do is, hang on a second, I'll get that and I'll use this as a thumbnail. There we go, took a picture of it. So the reason I'm doing that, so you guys know, is yesterday's video got demonetized. And it took until this morning for me to get it remonetized. No reason why, it just said it was demonetized. It had the yellow thing. The problem I have with YouTube and demonetization is, well, maybe we'll save this. That's what we'll do. We'll save that for the end because not everybody wants to see that. But what we are going to talk about is Nico's knife, the Mattia Borrani kitchen knife. So this is done in VG10 Japanese stainless 64 layer Damascus. And this knife comes not only packaged gorgeously, but this knife is beautiful, guys. I know that you guys heard me talk about it in Las Vegas. You heard me talk about it when we were at the Cali Custom Show, when Mattia and Todd Begg were there. This knife is so incredibly attractive. Very rarely do I get really excited when I see a kitchen knife, but I see this and I'm like, that is like a Ferrari of kitchen knives. But I'm gonna tell you a little secret here in a minute. They're not that expensive. So what we'll do is we'll get this turned around. I'll get the camera set up at a different angle so that I can get behind it and we'll look at it. But just the lines on this knife with this, it's like a feather Damascus. Here, let's get in on it real quick. And then we'll get a better look at it. But everything about this knife, from the shape of the handle to the end here where you've got a spot that you can index and you don't slip up over, even if your hands are wet. The feel in hand comfort levels, all that stuff. But yeah, we'll turn this around. I really love this knife. And the pattern on it is just gorgeous. So let's get this turned around and take a look at it. All right, guys, I am still figuring out this whole shoot from behind the camera thing. I think I want to move it over here a little bit. There we go. I think that's a better view. So this knife not only comes, well, here, this is how it actually comes packaged. It not only is a beautiful knife, it comes packaged gorgeously. The magnetic closure, you've got the cover piece that keeps it packed in there. You've got just a gorgeous packaging for a really, really beautiful knife. Linen micarta handles, what is that? The crest of the city of Florence. And then this really, really broad, long, cutting it blade that is ground so thin behind the edge. It's just frighteningly sharp. So Nico picked this up at the Las Vegas Custom Show, and we'd looked at these knives at 2 shows, and he was like, dude, I just got to have one. So when he talked to Mattia gave him a price. Guys, these are sub $200. This is like a super, super high quality kitchen knife, sub $200, and you can see it's a solid piece down to here. That's not like a bolster that gets pressed over. So these things are gorgeous. And I mean, the handles, so I've used this twice now. I used it to help make supper last night. I cut up a bunch of stuff. The handles, when they get wet, they don't get slippery because the micarta is a natural fiber. So even though it's been sealed with a resin, those fibers that are exposed, they expand when they get wet, and you get a really nice grippy feel. And I will say that in this grip like this is just freaking perfect. Pinch it like this is the way most people use a knife. Everything about this is weighted freaking perfect. It sits just exactly the way you want it to. So it takes a lot for me to get excited about a kitchen knife because kitchen knives, well, they're just kitchen knives. But this one has got a lot going for it. Now they are going to offer, this is basically like the beginning of their production run. So this is like a production line, production run. The finish on it's just gorgeous. VG10 Japanese stainless 64 layer Damascus. So this was, I want to say Nico paid $100 and something for this knife. It's under $200. And when you look at it, it's fucking gorgeous. Now, I will tell you, I mean, there's not a lot of features to look at on this, but the thing about it is, like I said, so thin, you can barely see, even looking down on it, you can barely see my edge bevels. That's how thin it is. It's that thin there, and then it's ground across that long, wide blade down to just a super thin cutting. I will tell you, I have not used a knife that cuts as well as this for a while. So I'm not gonna do any cutting demonstrations. I'm not gonna cut up a bunch of vegetables that I can't afford to replace, that I don't really need for anything. But yeah, hang on a second, we'll get this turned back around. So guys, I sent Mattia a text because I can't remember when they said these are actually gonna be out and available pretty much for purchase. We got these at the show. They only had a couple. Nico was able to pick one up. I think they got a run of, I want to say he said 100. Hang on a second, let me lower you guys down just a hair. Is that about? Yeah, that's a little bit better. Now you can see kind of what's going on. There we go. So Nico was able to pick this up at the Las Vegas Custom Show. And he's already said it was the best 100 and some, I forget what he paid. I think he paid 100, just right out of 100 table price. He said it's the best investment he's ever made. It is, I can see that. It is incredibly comfortable. I'm gonna get with Mattia and see if I can't get one for testing purposes and things like that. And then do a full-on review. I will say I did cut some stuff for dinner last night. This thing works amazingly well. It's so comfortably balanced in hand, and it's light, really, really light. And so chopping tasks, things like that, really did a good job. I minced onions for supper last night. But that being said, the Mattia Borrani kitchen knife, keep your eyes open for it. They are really nice, especially if you cook a lot. This would be something you could use and your hands wouldn't get tired. That's one of my major complaints with, even before it got broken, this knife just was not as comfortable. The handle on it, everything on it is just, you see the difference, how much different this is than this. This just always was a little uncomfortable. So even before I turned it into a Santoku. Now this one is great, but still, I don't think this thing is just perfectly weighted. Exactly perfect. So, that being said, let's go ahead and talk about YouTube for a second. Now, I know you've heard a lot of creators talking about they're fucking losing revenue because their shit gets demonetized. For me, it's not that big a deal. I really don't make that much on YouTube, but it is frustrating. Especially the fact is, I see my stuff, like yesterday's video got immediately demonetized, but you guys were still seeing ads, because I checked. They're still running ads in my videos, but I'm not getting any of the revenue. And it just seems like a way, and people complain about ads on YouTube, and I'm kind of conflicted. I do understand that they have to run ads in videos. Ad revenue is, people complain. I was on a forum arguing with somebody. People complain about ads on YouTube and they're like, oh, this is horse shit. I look at it two ways. First way I look at it is you have to have the ads because that's what pays the infrastructure. It pays for the people that work there, and it pays the creators that actually put, like, there are people that's their entire job is just creating YouTube. And the other thing that I look at when I talk about ads in YouTube videos is most people are willing to pay for cable TV where they're forced to watch 2 minutes of commercials for every 5 to 7 minutes of viewing time, maybe 15. It's gotten to the point where an hour-long TV show is only about 38 minutes because the rest of it is all advertising. So I don't understand why people are conflicted about that. It's the whole thing of, if you don't want to watch ads, then you don't try and watch stuff on a platform that's free. People are willing to watch less ads on this free platform than they are on a paid platform, which makes absolutely no sense to me. And so people that argue is like, oh, I don't understand why they put ads on anyway. It's, it's how they keep YouTube free, is by you watching ads. So, but Here's my thing. None of my content would be anything that I would consider controversial, especially yesterday's. Yesterday's video that I did was about half-face blades. And I don't know what it was, but that video was demonetized for about 3 hours. Now, it's not like that's gonna make my week's wages. That's not why I'm upset. But the fact that upsets me is if it's demonetized, there should be no ads. If they're saying it is not advertiser friendly, there should be no ads running in that video. But there are, and Google is claiming all that. Now, I do understand they have a business to run, but the fact is, I only get a tiny portion of the ad revenue that comes from the ads you guys see in my videos. Google and YouTube get the rest of it. And now that just seems like a greedy cash grab when they do things like that. It was demonetized the second it went up. Like the second that video went after the premiere, that video had the little yellow dollar sign talking about the, limited to no ads. And I still saw at least 3 ads in the video when I rewatched it. So really don't know. But there's my little rant on YouTube. So I'm not saying go and boycott YouTube and things like that. I'm just saying there's no rhyme or reason. There's no formula as to what's going to get demonetized. So what I think it is, and this is why I was saying I wanted to get a thumbnail picture, is I think it depends on who's reviewing videos when they go through. When they process and watch, I think maybe it's the thumbnails I'm using. I know that I can't use the word knife in the title or it automatically is demonetized. Maybe I gotta stop putting pictures of knives in the videos. Maybe all of my thumbnails will be either me or my hat. So, I don't know, guys. That's it, though. I told you I was gonna do the video. I know I screwed it up when I was doing the editing. I wasn't happy with it. So, here's the video this morning. I will try and have it up by 1. You guys have a great day. Take care of each other. Be good to each other. And I will see you next time.